5 clear signs that your dog does not trust you. Although we do not have exact numbers, there are tens of millions of dogs living in the Western world, and almost every second household or family has a four-legged friend. If a dog lover who has realistic experience of keeping dogs mixes with a dog company or is a guest in a household with dogs, he is shocked to see how high the proportion of cases when it is clear from the dog's communication that something is wrong between the owner and the dog. The pet simply does not trust its owner. Communication and reason. Like other animals, dogs communicate through 3 main channels: body language, actions, and sounds, of which body language is perhaps the most telling. If a dog's body language suggests that it doesn't trust its owner, feels tension, or is afraid of him, there can of course be many reasons for this, from poor housing conditions, tensions between family members, to the over-nudging and completely unnecessary humanization of dogs and expectations of things that a dog simply can't do. The reasons for this lack of trust on the human side include the lack of rules, or random changes almost daily, the use of almost podcast-length sentences instead of command words, and many other things. But how does it show in a dog's communication that he doesn't really trust the owner and the relationship between the two is not too good? The top 5 of them are: 1. Lack of tail wagging. In a balanced dog-owner relationship, dogs usually greet the returning owner with bursts of joy and rapid tail wagging, when, in some breeds, the entire posterior tract follows the movement of the tail. If this is not done, and the dog approaches cautiously and tucks its tail between its hind legs, or wags its tail in a very slow pace, this is a clear sign that the owner's appearance triggers tension, a kind of readiness in the dog. 2. Avoidance, rigid viewing. It can be considered more serious if your dog avoids you when you get home. He retreats to a kind of shelter, moves to another place, hides under or behind something, or leave the room when you enter it and actively try to keep their distance. All this is often accompanied by the phenomenon of following the movement of the person arriving home with bulging eyes and a rigid gaze, not taking his gaze off the person. All this is a clear sign that the presence of man, the owner, provokes fear and discomfort in the animal. 3. Lack of eye contact. In a balanced and healthy relationship, dogs usually seek the gaze of their own owners and are not uncomfortable looking eye to eye. In the event that the dog tried to avoid eye contact and look away from you, or even backs off, or turns away in this position, this most likely means a lack of trust and embarrassment on the part of the dog. 4. Avoiding touch, stiffening body. Regardless of breed, the highlight of almost every dog's day is when they can establish physical contact with their owner, which in most cases takes the form of caresses. If during the touch of an owner, the dog's body tenses almost like a bow or freezes with stiffening muscles, it is a sure sign that there is a problem in the relationship. A more serious symptom is if the pet firmly avoids being touched or the fur stands up in the presence of the owner. 5. Grabbing, growling, disobedience. A beagle chewing on a bone in the middle of the family double bed, growling at the hand reaching towards it, is certainly not a good sign. We saw just such an example last time, but it can be replaced by any breed, but neither is it a good sign if the dog bites or growls when the owner reaches for his favorite toy. This behavior may indicate serious problems with trust, upbringing, and socialization. It is usually caused by the fact that the inexperienced or weak owner failed to establish the rules defining the framework of coexistence in time, and their consistent observance from puppyhood onwards. Thus, it is not clear to the dog what he can and cannot do, so his trust in family members is not complete. If you experience any of these signs more than once on your dog, something is wrong on the trust front. If this stems from being aggressive towards your dog and punishing them for no reason, you have to admit that this genre, dog ownership, is not for you. The good news is that in most, the lack of trust is due to inexperience and mistakes in upbringing, and increasingly caused by the completely unnecessary humanization of dogs. Dogs are soldier-like creatures, like predators in a pack. They like precise sets of rules where everyone knows exactly what he can do and how far he can go. It is in these circumstances that they feel comfortable and safe. Dogs do not prefer uncertainty.